you have, you can, because if you have to lead yourself, because you have to have certain goal. Or like my goal was like appearing media so that I can show my skill to the people. Also, that gives you huge confidence as well, because the world is giving you, you are good, So publishing video as well, how to teach sushi, I publish myself. And, I saw most people goes to publish books, but I went to publish the video, cooking video. But now so that you have to, but all these goals that I had, like 8, all of them came true because I wrote it in a notebook.
Fantastic.
You have to write it and look at it every day, every week, and write down your idea, come up, and then you write down, and then do the research, or read a book or go to seminar.
What can women do to choose the financial institutions that better serve them?
That's a great question, because women can really speak with their money. Women are a very powerful and valuable group. And so just like we make sure we invest in the value we get from any other purchase we make, we want to make sure that we're investing with those institutions that provide a value to us. So you need to do your research and say, is this institution serving me, learning about who I am, understanding what my goals are, and providing me guidance and the right investments, lending, whatever it might be you need to really help me. Are they being in contact with me? Are they treating me with respect and dignity? Are they not just selling me a product, but really understanding what my needs and desires are? So often I say to women, when's the last time you heard from your financial professional? And I kind of get a glazed over look. But if you're in business and you're an entrepreneur, you want to make sure that those financial institutions are part of your financial team and they know where you're going and where you want to be. So I say speak with your money, really do your research, and make sure you're working with those institutions who are not just going to sell you a product and walk away, but be committed to what your goals are as well.
Sounds great. Powerful story. And during the course of this masterclass with Erica, we will explore the power of pivoting and perseverance and raising funds, capital, as a female founder. Hello, Erica. How are you doing? All the way in Florida.
How are you? Thank you for having me here, Lena.
You're absolutely welcome. You're absolutely welcome. Got a few questions here for you.
Cool.
For us female founders, female entrepreneurs who are watching this masterclass here with us today. How did you perfect your craft as a vacation rental agent?
That's a really good question, and it was perfected over the course of almost 2 decades. For me, it was a matter of finding where I fit in. You have to find where you fit in any niche that you're in. When I first got into real estate, I was just throwing spaghetti against the wall, trying to sell everything that came at me: commercial, residential, long-term rental, everything. And that works for some time. It's gonna get your bills paid and you'll make money. But for me, the way I perfected my craft and what I really figured out was that you can't be all things to all people. You have to really niche yourself down and become the big fish in the small pond instead of trying to be the small or medium fish in the enormous pond, for so many reasons: for marketing budget wise, scalability purposes. If you're niched down, you're servicing a large group of people that are typically being starved of service in that market. So now you become everything to a small group of people instead of trying to just continuously compete with everyone doing the same thing out there to the masses. So for me, it was a matter of finding my niche, getting really, really good at it, understanding my clientele, and then just running with that.
And so the vacation sector was your niche in the end?
Yeah. Vacation rentals. For me, I fell into it by accident, actually. It was after the economic collapse. When in the real estate market, everybody was losing everything. I lost a 3,400 square foot office in Palm Beach County overlooking the ocean. It was beautiful. I had 88 agents and mortgage brokers working there, and the economy tanked. I lost my investments. I lost my office. I lost everything. I was super defeated. I had to move to Orlando, not by choice, but because that's where the work was at the time, because I was living in South Florida. Moving there, I ended up taking a position with a sales and marketing director position for a vacation rental management company. Mm-hmm. And I had never in my life sold vacation rentals. Mm-hmm. And so when I took that, I realized within a month that I was sitting on the wrong side of that. And I quickly jumped right back into the sales side after learning it for about a month and created a whole strategy around it. And that's when my business took off. And had I never moved to Orlando, had the market never crashed, had I never lost everything, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So for me, it was all a beautiful mess.
That is absolutely brilliant. And we'll come to this, the pivoting class with Tiffany. We will explore persuasive storytelling, entrepreneurship, and innovation literacy, which is what Tibetan. We'll come to you anyway, Tiffany, and you can correct me. Is all about persuasive storytelling and enabling our 7 billion people to come out and showcase their business, basically. So how's it going, Tiffany? How are you doing?
I'm great. You know, like every entrepreneur, I have too little sleep, too little time, too little money, but a huge, huge, huge desire to reach the destination of the dream and mission of Tibetan, which is to teach the entrepreneur and innovator skill set to everyone for success in business and in life.
Fantastic. Well, let's get to the questions. So let's talk about this, why this persuasive storytelling is so important when establishing and growing a business.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years, as you mentioned. So in the beginning, when I was first doing my first startup in the 80s, entrepreneurship wasn't so popular and there wasn't a lot of classes in it. There wasn't this whole entrepreneurial doer maker culture. And for the most part, people were like, get a real job, right? So the first time I did a company was when I was 19. I co-founded a company with some friends called Topac. We were the inventors of the first one-strap backpack and filed and received a patent. I filed a patent, I was about 19, received it by the time I was 23. And we were distributed in 50 stores. We had had a lot of press, including the New York Times. There was no social media back then or Google or anything. So we were, or 30 under 30. So we were doing pretty well, but for the most part, you know, the energy and attitude was around like, get a real job. It also meant that we didn't have frameworks like Lean Canvas and those types of things. So you basically had to do the startup. And for me, because I'm such a techie and I believe in process and systems, I also kept experimenting and testing theses around what works and what doesn't work for raising money, for getting customers, for finding partners. There were no pitch contests or very few of them or classes on pitching. Which was actually a good thing, because what I found out was that it was a persuasive narrative and a story to tell, not a pitch. And so since that worked well for me, I went with it. So I would take creative writing classes, eventually improv classes, would talk about storytelling to my team. We would write scripts for things and rehearse them, you know, like any actress or singer. And it was very revolutionary back then. Now everyone...
We will explore developing and sustaining networks, since Lady Val is a master of this, and she will be sharing lessons learned from keynote speakers that will empower you on this particular masterclass. Now, Val, hello, Lady Val, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you very much.
Thanks for being here. Now, why would anyone want to set up a network, or why did you set up a network, and why should people set up a network?
Right. The reason I set up a network was that I was working as a director of a training restaurant in Hoxton Square in the East End of London. And my brief was, it was a training restaurant for people long-term unemployed. And my brief was just to get bums on seats, really, to make the restaurant better known. So I started this professional women's network, and we originated with 30 in the mezzanine restaurant, and that translated to about 70 to 100 in the downstairs restaurant. So it was quite effective. Unfortunately, the new government came in and stopped our funding, so the restaurant had to close, which was a bad idea, by the way. And unfortunately, obviously everything stopped, but people begged me to continue. So I've been doing this for 14 years, so I switched it to Browns in Covent Garden, and we've been doing very well since then.
Perfect, perfect. And so you set up this network as a way to showcase the charity, because some of the portion of the money from the tickets, of the sale of tickets for this women's network, goes to charities, right?
Well, I don't like the concept of ladies who lunch, and so I wanted, I wanted to know that it was doing something. Mm-hmm. So I have founded 2 other networks, as I think you mentioned, mm-hmm. and we crusade for getting people released from prison into jobs, and that relates, of course, to the work I did in the restaurant. Mm-hmm. Because without jobs, they can't reintegrate really into society, and there's lots of very, very, very skillful.
During the course of this masterclass with Elsa, we will talk about how diversity, inclusion, connecting the dots and building community leads to a stronger, sustainable and highly efficient workplace, whether you're a startup or a large corporation developing entrepreneurs for business longevity. Hello there, Elsa, got a few questions here for you.
Hi there.
Hello there. What made you kickstart the Northwest Biotech Initiative during your PhD, and why is it important to develop business during the midst of completing a traditional education?
Right, so as I started my PhD, as excited as I was, albeit naive of the journey ahead, 9 months into my PhD, I realized academia was not my preferred career choice, so I started asking myself the question, after this, what? And that was a turning point for me, really. I set out to find out what life post-PhD would look like. And little did I know that this question and decision thwarted me into the most exhilarating 5 years of my life. And so I set out to find a community of scientists who did not particularly want to stay in academia, but still loved science and what they were doing and what else they needed. And what I realized was, so I went to the University of Liverpool, and a lot of universities, sometimes they prepare you for life in academia. So that is obviously the lab work, submitting, publishing papers and all of that. And that is all great if that is your preferred career choice. But because this was not mine, I needed this different set of skills if I was going to go into industry and work with different companies. And they would look for skills. What are your business acumen skills, business development and proposal writing and all of these things that I did not think I was being prepared for. So I started the NBI actually as a community for myself and other scientists that wanted to be in that space. And soon we started seeing over 1,000 people attend some of our events. And then I thought, okay, we are definitely onto something. As great as it was that people were attending the events, it showed a really big shortfall within the traditional education system, where if we've all spent 3 to 4 years of our lives working on something and we still feel like we don't know what we want to do or we're not content, then something is wrong. It's either we're not doing our part or the university is not doing their part. So yes, that's why really I started NBI.
That makes sense, because while I was asking Nicole is going to go through the 5 tips to transitioning into entrepreneurship with her vast degree of expertise in that area to really empower you as female entrepreneurs worldwide into action and progress. Welcome, Nicole. How are you doing there?
How are you doing, Lena? Thank you for having me.
You are absolutely welcome. I'm happy to have you. So what led you to go from a Fortune 500 companies to starting Ms. Tech?
Well, it was quite a jagged trajectory, but it wasn't planned. I was laid off from work. So I was one of those unplanned entrepreneurs, but it landed in my lap and the opportunity was there. And I really saw the 2009, a lot of us in the US, we were in a state of, I was around a pool of women who were also very smart, and we were working on our own freelancing. And so that's really kind of where I was at.
Fantastic. So would you say you being made redundant was almost like the catalyst to now being where you need to be? Because sometimes the universe presents us with challenges, but those challenges are really masked in opportunity. Would you say that?
Absolutely. That's the way we have to look at it, right? We're at a place or a crossroads, and we can either look at it as the opportunity to then take on everything that we wanted to do that was in the back of our mind, or settle for where we're at. And you know, someone had said to me at that moment I was in my life and said, "You've always been the entrepreneurial mind. Why don't you take that road?" I thought, really? You're right. You know, I should take that path. So I took the little bit of savings I had, and I could either take that money and just dump it into an idea, or I could take that money and invest it in myself and start learning how to code a little bit, and take that time and invest it over that period of time in the year, and spend it on learning and really, you know, we talk about investing in our self-development, and that's what I did.
And that's important, right? Would you say? Hello, Sophia, how you doing?
Hi, I'm very well, thank you.
Good. I've got some questions here for you. So what are the trends on the way food businesses are now marketing their products online?
Okay, there are a few. So the first one I would say is content marketing. Good content is king these days, and consumers demand the best products and services. But what's different now is that consumers want to know more information about the products as well, and they want to be in the control of the buying process from the beginning until the very end. And research shows that consumers place the most value on content that informs and educates them as well. And recipe and cooking content in particular does just that. The second trend I would say is digital devices. So nowadays people bring smartphones and iPads into the kitchen while they're cooking, especially millennials. So while people who are older than 35 years old, they normally still print the recipes, millennials just bring their devices. And I don't know if you noticed, but Google have recently introduced recipe boxes. So if you search for a recipe online, you see a recipe box already given to you on search. So you don't even have to click on it. And these recipe boxes are connected to devices automatically as well. So it's much easier for you to cook while using your devices as well. That also brings me to the next point, which is the voice control. More and more people use devices like Alexa or Google Home while they're cooking as well. And I think it's almost 1 in 4 households in the UK that own those voice control digital home assistant devices. And again, if you're a food brand and you want to invest in voice technology, it's a very good and smart way to promote your products as well.
So SME, for female entrepreneurs who don't know, and I'm sure you do, I'm sure you must know, is small, medium-sized enterprises. And obviously what Black Storm Consulting do is to get you, as they were saying, from a micro level into a small level to a medium-sized level, and then potentially look for you to work with larger corporations and help you to expand within that particular region of Southeast Asia. And obviously you've spoken about looking at other businesses out there who are wanting to come into the Southeast Asian region because there's a lot of business to be done there. Tell us a bit more about how you connect those small businesses that want to expand with the help and the Goliath nature of these corporations. How do you help them to sort of partner up and to expand both the small business and to give the large corporation that may not have their expertise in-house, but they're looking for a smaller organization to sort of partner up with? How do you do that?
Yep. Maybe let me share a little bit about case study so that you can actually visualize better. So for Black Storm, right, Lenovo is a laptop. Many people actually view Lenovo as laptop kind of manufacturer. So to them, I actually consider them as big corporates. So under Lenovo arm, they actually have Motorola. Okay, they recently just took over the Japan market. They brought over Fujitsu, and also they are also in the IBM laptop. Okay,
Yeah,
so
because IBM took over from. Did they buy Lenovo?
IBM,
IBM,
Lenovo bought.
they
Yes,
bought them, didn't they? Yeah.
yes, correct. So actually, Lenovo is a Chinese company.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people might not, because they position themselves as a US company, but actually they are actually a Chinese company.
Mm-hmm.
So for them is they actually focus a lot much more in the Asia. Okay, so we work with someone from Singapore team that actually manage the Asia operation, excluding the China, because China, they themselves have a team to run for it. So for Lenovo, they always work with big corporates. Okay, if you actually have a Lenovo laptop, they always work with McAfee. Okay.
Oh, McAfee, yeah, the security
Yes.
system, yeah.
Yes. So they actually, okay, besides just selling laptops, selling devices, one of their revenue model is actually onboarding software. Okay. So for example, McAfee. Okay. So they, over the years, they have been working with a lot of big corporates like McAfee themselves, but it made their offering.
Membership platform. What does this look like for you? Have you a talent or passion that you can monetize? Can you create a new product or service that will help you generate revenue online, in person, or ideally both, so you can work locally, nationally, and internationally? What are your strengths? Software development, growth hacking, raising funds, marketing and sales, business development. As you first start out, you may want to utilize your talent or passion in a consultancy or a service-related industry. You can use technology to secure clients, schedule time, deliver work, and collect payment. Adding a specific service to your existing business can also empower you to benefit from your talent or passion. It opens up the steps to figure out new opportunities. Once you realize that you have a passion, the first step is to reach out to potential clients and collaborators. You can then acknowledge via this focus group of contacts that you have reached out to, whether there is any mileage and potential income to be generated. By benefiting from your talent or passion, there must be a way to make money or provide a quid pro quo opportunity that will lend itself to learn and grow, which can be applied to your professional development, which in turn focuses your effort on what will empower your business. Now check out my online business shop with remote services I offer at lenabenjamin.com/shop. There is an opportunity to get 20% off your first order. Sometimes you will need to uncover your talent or passion, and you may want online coaching to recognize what this looks like for you. If you have already got a business and you have a startup idea, you could work through the 6-week online business startup program, which will empower you to start and create a new entrepreneurial business-to-business startup. You will receive weekly online coaching via Zoom, a new website, content services, I should say, social media, and a dedicated virtual assistant, plus an interim chief marketing officer with me as your C-level support for 1 month after delivering the 6-week program, delivering marketing initiatives across various channels to achieve the sales and business growth objectives. Go to lenabenjamin.com/shop to check it out.